the US utilized this model very effectively in the Second World War. So you can count really the beginning of a historical moment from the end of the Second World War when this model was complete and brought to application everywhere. And the model is, let's find the next knowledge frontier, turn it into a technological frontier, use that for any application you can come up with to use commercially, and use that as the engine for progress, and not only progress for all, but dominance of that progress, economic progress, by the United States. So it's a very American kind of project. Works. So it works in these waves of new field of discovery, new field of technological development, new field of commercial application, and so on. The problem with this model is that you need to keep running. You need to keep moving this cycle over and over and over. Why? Because once you come up with a commercial application for it, you know that it's going to go away from you. It's going to get away from you. It's going to follow the path of least resistance to places with lower environmental and labor standards. So you see that very clearly, for example, with the computer industry, where the personal computer world comes out of here at Silicon Valley, but very soon it ends up in Southeast Asia, or first Japan and then other places. So it goes away because those places have lower environmental and lower labor standards. So this is a process that was well understood by the 1970s, 1980s, when the material science and technology was really leaking out of Silicon Valley and the US. The executive branch, the president of the US, understood this problem. And they called on the very same people who had brought the wave of development based on physics. The very same people were brought in to Washington and the White House, and they were asked, okay, so what is going to be the next development? And they said biotechnology. So it was a top-down decision. They said we must, because we're going to lose the preeminence worldwide that was brought to us by space travel and communications, space communications, material sciences, computer sciences, information technology, and so on. Each wave, we have been on the forefront. We're going to lose that. The next wave is going to be biotechnology. So from the top down, from the president of the US, the vice president, his name is Dan Quayle, he ran something called the Committee on Competitiveness that was tasked with maintaining the competitiveness, that means the leadership of the US in the world, mostly through biotechnological promotion. That is the foundational root for why biotechnology would spread around the world as a cultural and political development before it was even available as a biological development. And we are still today, 2022, we're still catching up with the imagination of Dan Quayle and George Bush, the father, as president of the US, who imagined that biotechnology was going to be really like the successor of computer science and space communications. It has never really reached that level, and we're still trying to find out one way of presenting it to the world that will materialize the kind of advantage that we gain from the other waves of technology.